You know, as a young actor and the looming threat of AI, it was kind of a terrifying thought that one's career could be over before it had already began. I'm really thankful to the SAG negotiating team for taking that on with a steadfastness that could only be written about in textbooks. It's obviously a very convoluted subject, and I'm not fully equipped to talk about all of the gritty details, but I know that Suzanne writes what she sees in the world, and it's definitely not lost on her that her themes are very much prevalent in the world, and I'm really thankful that we get to kind of hold the mirror up to society and ask them those questions without necessarily force-feeding them an answer.
Audiences stayed away, and even her own cast and crew are calling her out. Disney's own CEO's son posted that she hijacked the film and then deleted it after it went viral. Oh, and that #1 movie in the world claim she made? Deleted.
If I'm Bob Iger, you know what we're doing? Emergency meeting. We're putting Snow White on hold for 2 years, and guess what?
Smart.
Pay her a couple $1,000,000, go away. We're going to bring another person to play this role.
Snow White's legacy hangs in the balance as Disney's most controversial remake, yet faces unprecedented backlash months before release.
It just takes a beloved movie and makes it much more boring and much less realistic. The movie is really, really bad.
Likes to make assumptions about my life. It's great.
About Rachel Zegler. She's the young woman that was cast as Snow White. It has proven to be Disney's worst investment ever in the history of Disney investment.
She said death threats. I don't know which dwarf gave you death threats, but she's saying she's getting death threats.
Disney secretly decided to replace actress Rachel Zegler with an artificial intelligence-generated version of herself in the upcoming Snow White sequel. This bombshell revelation has sent waves through Hollywood, raising serious questions about the future of actors in an increasingly AI-dominated industry.
It just takes a beloved movie and makes it much more boring and much less realistic. The movie is really, really bad.
But what really happened behind closed doors at the House of Mouse? The truth is more disturbing than you might imagine. Disney's live-action Snow White remake has been plagued with controversy from the beginning. What started as an ambitious reimagining of a beloved classic quickly spiraled into a PR nightmare that few could have predicted.
That said, our primary purpose is to entertain, and where we can entertain responsibly, obviously we try to do that. We try to have a positive impact on the world, but the first thing we need to do is entertain.
Initially, hopes were high when Rachel Zegler was cast as the iconic princess, a rising star fresh off her success in West Side Story, bringing fresh energy to a timeless role. But the honeymoon didn't last long. During promotional interviews, Zegler made comments about modernizing the Snow White story that ignited a firestorm among fans. "We didn't do that this time," she said, referring to the original love story that she described as featuring a prince who literally stalks Snow White.
You're a retard.
Okay.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White.
That laugh.
That is
Not going to be saved by
You
the
wrote
prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can.
Her remarks were interpreted by many as dismissive of the beloved classic. The backlash was swift and merciless. Social media exploded with criticism, and Disney executives reportedly panicked as they watched the controversy unfold.
There was an in-depth piece, like a behind-the-scenes piece, talking about how they've been in a full meltdown about this girl for a couple of years now.
According to insiders, Bob Iger himself acknowledged that significant story changes had been implemented based on Zegler's input, a rare admission that only fueled the flames of discontent among Disney traditionalists. What few people knew until recently was that Rachel Zegler had harbored deep-seated fears about artificial intelligence in filmmaking long before the Snow White controversy erupted. In a revealing interview with Variety, Zegler confessed to a disturbing experience when she was just 18 years old. "I was really scared of being replaced by an artificial intelligence version of myself that they scanned when I was 18 and then never being able to work on a set again," Zegler admitted. The young actress described having 465 photos taken of every corner of my body for CGI stunts, an experience she bluntly called F-King dystopian. Her chilling question haunted the interview. What was stopping them from using that for the rest of my life? Little did she know that her worst fears might actually materialize in the most unexpected way. As Snow White's theatrical release approached, Disney's leadership found themselves in crisis mode. Box office projections looked increasingly grim, and the negative publicity surrounding Zegler showed no signs of abating. Every interview seemed to generate new controversies, culminating in what insiders describe as a disastrous appearance on The View, where Zegler reportedly went off script and had to be escorted off set. With millions invested in the production and Disney's stock price taking hits with each new scandal, desperate measures were being considered in boardrooms across Burbank.
It came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Say it louder so your other eye can hear you.
So we didn't do that.
According to sources close to the production, that's when an unprecedented suggestion emerged. What if they could leverage existing AI technology to replace problematic elements in the sequel without the public knowing? In what industry insiders are calling the most secretive operation in recent Hollywood history, Disney executives allegedly greenlit a plan to gradually phase out Zegler's involvement in Snow White's sequel. The plan was ingenious in its deception. Zegler would still be credited, still participate in limited promotions, but an increasing percentage of her screen time would be AI-generated, particularly for reshoots and newly conceptualized scenes. They've been in a full meltdown about this girl for a couple of years now, revealed one anonymous source familiar with the situation. The source explained that Disney had been quietly developing contingency plans since early tensions emerged during production. What makes this case particularly disturbing is that unlike previous public AI replacements in Hollywood, like James Earl Jones allowing his voice to be recreated for Darth Vader, this decision was reportedly made without Zegler's knowledge or consent. The technology had advanced to a point where consent had become a gray area. Disney already owned the rights to use her likeness in Snow White-related content through standard contract clauses that few actors think twice about. As rumors of this unprecedented AI replacement began circulating through entertainment circles, reactions were mixed but largely concerned. Directors like Guillermo del Toro had already been vocal critics of AI in filmmaking, dismissing its creative capabilities as mere semi-compelling screensavers. But the implications of secretly replacing a living actor with their digital double represent something far more troubling than debates about AI art. This wasn't just about creativity, it was about the fundamental rights of performers to control their own image and career. Legal experts point out that current entertainment contracts were never designed for this scenario. The standard clauses allowing studios to use actor likenesses for specific projects didn't anticipate technology advanced enough to potentially replace the actor entirely in future works. The plan might have remained Hollywood's best-kept secret if not for a conscience-stricken VFX artist who couldn't stomach the ethical implications of the project. After witnessing early tests of the AI-generated Rachel 2.0, the artist leaked selective information to trusted industry journalists. The leak set off alarm bells throughout actors' unions already battling for AI protections in recent contract negotiations.
It just takes a beloved movie and makes it much more boring and much less realistic. The movie is really, really bad.
SAG-AFTRA representatives immediately demanded clarification from Disney, while the studio's PR department scrambled to contain what was quickly becoming an existential crisis. Disney initially responded with carefully worded non-denials, stating that all our productions utilize cutting-edge technology while valuing the irreplaceable contributions of our talented performers. This corporate speak only fueled speculation that something unprecedented was indeed underway. After weeks of speculation and mounting pressure, the full story finally emerged through a detailed expose in a major entertainment publication. The truth, as it turned out, was both more and less sinister than the rumors suggested. Disney had indeed been experimenting with advanced AI technology capable of creating convincing digital performances based on actor scans. And yes, Rachel Zegler's likeness had been among those used in testing phases. However, the technology was never intended specifically to replace her. It was part of a broader initiative to develop tools for aging, de-aging actors, creating digital stunt doubles and potentially reducing production costs across all Disney properties. Where the story took an unexpected turn was in revealing that the leaked replacement plan wasn't a corporate directive at all. Rather, it was the unauthorized brainchild of a mid-level executive with a personal grudge against Zegler stemming from heated arguments during Snow White's production. This executive had presented speculative AI replacement options to colleagues as a thought experiment that was never officially sanctioned. In the wake of the controversy, Disney took swift action to address the scandal. The executive responsible for the unauthorized AI replacement discussions was quietly let go, while the company released a comprehensive policy on AI ethics that explicitly prohibited the replacement of living actors without their knowledge and consent. Rachel Zegler, for her part, emerged from the ordeal with a newfound platform to address AI ethics in entertainment. Her early concerns about being digitally replaced, once dismissed as paranoia, now seemed prophetic. "This isn't just about me," she stated in her first interview after the scandal broke. "This is about every actor's right to maintain ownership of their most personal asset, their own performance and image." The controversy ultimately forced Hollywood to confront questions it had been avoiding about AI and performer rights. New legislation was proposed to update entertainment contracts for the AI era, explicitly requiring informed consent for any digital recreation of an actor beyond traditional special effects. Started as another live-action adaptation, has become a perfect storm of controversy, leaving many to wonder if the House of Mouse has lost touch with what made their classics magical in the first place. The original Snow White from 1937 wasn't just Disney's first feature-length animated film. It was a revolutionary milestone that proved animation could captivate global audiences and tell powerful stories. This groundbreaking achievement established Disney as an entertainment pioneer, creating a template that would influence animation for generations.
It came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story. With a guy who literally stalks her.
Say it louder so your other eye can hear you.
So we didn't do that.
The tale of a young princess, a jealous queen, and 7 distinctive dwarfs became embedded in our cultural consciousness, with countless re-releases over decades ensuring each new generation experienced the magic that started it all. But Disney's journey of transforming beloved animated classics into live-action spectacles has hit its most turbulent chapter yet with Snow White.
That said, our primary purpose is to entertain, and where we can entertain responsibly, obviously we try to do that. We try to have a positive impact on the world, but the first thing we need to do is entertain.
At the center of the storm stands lead actress Rachel Zegler, whose controversial comments about the original film shocked longtime fans. In multiple interviews, Zegler appeared dismissive of the classic she was tasked with reimagining, criticizing its romantic storyline and suggesting the 1937 version was outdated. "I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and never picked it up again," Zegler revealed in one interview, immediately alienating fans who cherished the film. She further shocked viewers by seemingly rejecting core elements of the story, emphasizing that her version would focus on becoming the leader she was meant to be, rather than following the original romantic arc.
You're a retard. Okay.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White.
That laugh.
That is
not going to be saved by
You
the
wrote
prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can.
These statements ignited immediate outrage online, with clips of her interviews spreading like wildfire across social media. Disney enthusiasts questioned why someone seemingly critical of Snow White's legacy would be chosen to embody the iconic character. The backlash intensified when Zegler appeared to double down rather than acknowledge fans' concerns, creating a PR nightmare that Disney scrambled to contain. Behind the scenes, the production has reportedly faced mounting challenges. Industry insiders reveal the budget has ballooned dramatically, raising questions about why a relatively straightforward fairy tale adaptation requires such enormous resources. More concerning are whispers of extensive reshoots, suggesting Disney executives have grown anxious about the controversy surrounding their star and the creative direction of the film.
It has proven to be Disney's worst investment ever in the history of Disney investments. I mean, they've gone through various scandals with this girl.
Perhaps most shocking to traditionalists was the revelation that the 7 dwarfs, arguably the most recognizable element of Snow White beyond the princess herself, would be dramatically reimagined. Leaked information suggested they would be replaced with a diverse group of magical beings, triggering heated debate about whether such fundamental changes betray the story's essence or represent necessary evolution for modern audiences. This clash highlights the tightrope Disney walks when updating their classics. How much can you change before a beloved tale becomes unrecognizable?
You had Rachel Zegler on the docket, too. I think actresses should be quiet. I understand
She's
why.
such an
While defenders argue that fairy tales have always evolved with the times, critics maintain that certain iconic elements should remain untouched. The controversy exposes a deeper cultural divide regarding tradition versus transformation in entertainment, with Snow White becoming the unexpected battleground. For Disney, the financial stakes couldn't be higher. With a reported budget exceeding $200 million, Snow White needs to perform extraordinarily well to recoup its massive investment. The negative publicity threatens not just box office numbers, but also merchandise sales and theme park engagement.
She hated Snow White, mocked the fact that there was a prince and that she falls in love as opposed to leaning into her own power. We could go on.
Industry analysts suggest that if the film bombs, it could force Disney to reconsider its entire remake strategy, potentially abandoning plans for other controversial adaptations. The Rachel Zegler situation has become particularly complex. Despite her undeniable talent showcased in West Side Story, her outspoken comments have created a perception problem that threatens to overshadow her performance.
We've been in a full meltdown about this girl for a couple of years now, and how they had her tweet out like a little, "Yay, Snow White, can't wait, so excited, I love to play her."
The controversy raises questions about how stars should engage with legacy properties. Can performers critique the source material without alienating the very audience they need to attract? Online spaces have become overwhelmed with speculation, with each new interview or leaked set photo adding fuel to the fire. The hashtag #NotMySnowWhite has trended repeatedly, with fans expressing disillusionment at what they perceive as disrespect toward a cherished classic. Disney's attempts to manage the narrative have largely failed, as the conversation has grown beyond their control.
And she did it and got like millions of views, and they were like, "Good job, Rachel." And then she, like minutes later, followed it up with, "And never forget, free Palestine." This is just like a few months after 10/7.
In February, these tensions reached new heights when viral rumors claimed Disney was secretly filming a new version of Snow White without Rachel Zegler's knowledge. A claim that spread rapidly despite having no factual basis. Representatives for both Zegler and Disney quickly denied these allegations, confirming that the actress remains attached to the project. The false rumor revealed just how toxic the discourse had become, with disappointed fans willing to believe increasingly outlandish claims.
They postponed the release of this thing, Ben, for a year because their star, Rachel Zegler, was so unlikable.
The truth behind this particular rumor seems to reflect more about the creator's personal grievances with Disney than any reality about the production. Like many viral claims in today's social media landscape, it exploited existing tensions and validated viewers' preconceived notions rather than providing accurate information. This Snow White saga illustrates a fundamental challenge for studios in the digital age, balancing reverence for beloved classics with the need for contemporary relevance. When fans feel protective over stories that shaped their childhoods, even well-intentioned updates can spark passionate resistance. Yet failing to evolve risks, making these stories feel increasingly irrelevant to younger audiences.
She's now bragging about the success of Snow White, which is a movie that's going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars, and mainly because of her and because nobody wanted to support her.
For Disney, the controversy represents a defining moment. If Snow White succeeds despite the backlash, it may validate their approach to modernizing classics. If it fails, executives might reconsider how aggressively they reshape their iconic properties. Either way, the outcome will likely influence how the studio approaches remakes for years to come. The final verdict rests with audiences. Will they embrace this reimagined Snow White or reject it as a betrayal of Disney's legacy? The answer might determine whether the studio continues down this controversial path or returns to the drawing board, searching for a more balanced approach that honors tradition while embracing progress. As release day approaches, tensions continue mounting. This isn't just about one movie anymore. It's become a referendum on Disney's relationship with its own history, how stars should engage with beloved material, and ultimately, who owns these cultural touchstones that have shaped generations of childhood memories. Whatever happens next, the Snow White controversy has exposed the extraordinary emotional investment audiences have in these stories, proving that, even after nearly a century, the power of Disney's first animated feature remains undiminished. What happens when one of the world's biggest studios loses control of its star? Disney executives are scrambling after confidential emails expose their true feelings about Rachel Zegler and the Snow White disaster.
If I'm Bob Iger, you know what we're doing? Emergency meeting. We're putting Snow White on hold for 2 years, and guess what?
Smart.
Pay her a couple $1,000,000, go away. We're going to bring another person to play this role.
The situation is far worse than anyone imagined. Disney's once magical kingdom is crumbling under controversy, with leaked communications revealing executives panicking behind closed doors about their $200 million gamble on an actress they now consider unmanageable. But that's just scratching the surface of this Hollywood nightmare.
You had Rachel Zegler on the docket too. I think actresses should be quiet. I understand
She's
why.
such an
Internal messages obtained by hackers show Disney's top brass expressing regret over casting Zegler after her controversial statements alienated fans and sent the marketing team into crisis mode. One executive allegedly wrote, "We've created a monster we can no longer control."
Weird.
And what happened next only confirmed their worst fears. Before these bombshell emails surfaced, Zegler was already under fire for comments that seemed to mock the very film she was starring in. In interviews that left Disney PR horrified, she dismissed the original Snow White as bizarre and focused on a prince who literally stalks her, declaring the classic love story wouldn't be part of her version.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
The backlash was immediate and fierce. Longtime Disney fans felt betrayed by an actress who appeared to have contempt for the source material. Social media erupted with calls to replace her, but executives were already too deep into production to make changes. According to the leaked communications, one Disney insider described the situation as watching a train wreck in slow motion.
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnap, great dude.
But the emails were just the beginning. The scandal escalated dramatically when audio allegedly captured Zegler berating production staff during filming. The recording, which spread like wildfire across social media, supposedly featured the actress yelling at crew members who suggested keeping elements of the beloved original story. "She just ran angry," claimed one witness to the confrontation. The leaked audio situation became so toxic that even Bill Maher couldn't resist weighing in, mocking what he called Zegler's elitism and declaring her Disney's worst investment ever in the history of Disney investments.
I think it's fair to say that no one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
Behind closed doors, Disney executives were panicking. The leaked emails reveal frantic discussions about damage control strategies and whether to delay the film's release. One message reportedly stated, "If I'm Bob Iger, you know what we're doing? Emergency meeting. We're putting Snow White on hold for 2 years and paying her a couple $1,000,000 to go away."
If I'm Bob Iger, you know what we're doing? Emergency meeting. We're putting Snow White on hold for 2 years, and guess what?
Smart.
Pay her a couple $1,000,000, go away. We're going to bring another person to play this role.
The situation deteriorated further when Disney's CEO's own son publicly criticized the film on social media before quickly deleting his post after it went viral.
Audiences stayed away, and even her own cast and crew are calling her out. Disney's own CEO's son posted that she hijacked the film and then deleted it after it went viral. Oh, and that #1 movie in the world claim she made? Deleted.
According to inside sources, this was the moment executives realized they had completely lost control of the narrative. What makes this situation particularly shocking is how radically the production deviated from the original vision. Early creative meetings outlined a gentle modernization that would respect the classic while appealing to contemporary audiences.
There was an in-depth piece, like a behind-the-scenes piece, talking about how they've been in a full meltdown about this girl for a couple of years now.
Instead, fundamental elements were gutted. The dwarfs were nearly written out entirely, the prince was sidelined, and the love story was abandoned. One leaked email from a senior executive reportedly expressed alarm. "This isn't an update anymore, it's a completely different story using Snow White's name. We're alienating our core audience for what?" Another frustrated team member allegedly wrote, "She thinks she's fixing Snow White, but she's killing our box office." The film's marketing team found themselves in an impossible position. How do you sell a Snow White remake when your lead actress openly criticizes the original?
Rachel Zegler. This woman is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged.
Insiders claim that test screenings produced disastrous results, with families, Disney's bread and butter, expressing confusion over a story that barely resembled the fairy tale they knew and loved. Meanwhile, Zegler's outspoken nature extended beyond the film itself. Sources close to Disney confirmed the studio hired special social media specialists to monitor her online activity after she made controversial political statements. Her vocal support of Palestine caused particular concern given co-star Gal Gadot's Israeli background, creating tension that threatened to overshadow promotional efforts. The main Disney actress is out of control. They don't know what to do. One insider revealed, Disney executives have called her directly to ask her to moderate her posts. They have contacted her management team, but she is not listening to them.
Obviously, she's very attractive, very cute, but her views, her eliteness, her like, I know what's right and you don't, and now you want to apologize, bro. This is how the world works when you get on social media.
The situation reached such a critical point that Disney made the unprecedented decision to limit press appearances, fearing unscripted moments could further damage the film's already fragile public perception. According to the leaked communications, this strategy was implemented directly from the top after multiple crisis meetings. Box office projections continued to sink as controversy mounted. What was once expected to be a billion-dollar global hit was now tracking for a disastrous opening weekend.
Here's what I told Bob. I said, I'm curious, Bob, don't you think messages like this is why Disney keeps having box office flops?
Parents, traditionally Disney's most reliable audience, expressed hesitation about taking their children to see a film that had become synonymous with controversy. Classic songs like Someday My Prince Will Come were replaced with modern anthems that early viewers described as jarring and forced. The prince himself was reduced to a minor character, with Zegler publicly stating, "It's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful."
It's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024.
These creative decisions might have been defensible if executed with care and respect for the source material. But according to the leaked emails, even Disney's own creative team had serious doubts. One particularly damning message allegedly read, "We've forgotten what made people fall in love with these stories in the first place." Meanwhile, rumors spread about tension between Zegler and her co-stars. Multiple sources claimed she barely spoke to them off camera, creating an atmosphere that one crew member described as walking on eggshells.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
This toxic environment reportedly contributed to scenes being reshot multiple times, further straining the already bloated budget. Bill Maher's scathing commentary added fuel to the fire. On his show, he highlighted what he saw as the hypocrisy of someone proclaiming positivity and progressiveness while allegedly treating coworkers poorly. His segments went viral, bringing the controversy to an even wider audience. When the hackers known as Null Bulge claimed to have accessed thousands of internal Disney communications in July 2024, the situation reached new heights of crisis. The company immediately launched an investigation, but the damage was already done. Snippets of emails discussing Zegler and the troubled production began circulating online. The leaked communications revealed that Disney had been monitoring Zegler's social media presence for months, particularly concerned about her comments on political issues.
And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign.
Her criticism of Donald Trump and support for Palestine had triggered internal discussions about potential backlash from different audience segments. What makes this entire situation particularly tragic is that it didn't have to be this way. Early screen tests had shown promise, with viewers responding positively to the visual spectacle and production design. But as one leaked email allegedly stated, no amount of special effects can save a story that's lost its heart. As the release date approaches, Disney faces an impossible choice: move forward with a film that's become radioactive with controversy, or delay and risk even greater financial loss. The leaked emails suggest executives are divided, with some arguing to cut our losses, while others cling to hope that curiosity might drive ticket sales. Industry analysts now predict the Snow White debacle could trigger broader changes in how Disney approaches its classic remakes. The entire situation serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of drastically reinventing beloved stories without considering the audience's emotional connection to the original. For Zegler, the future remains uncertain. Once considered a rising star after her breakthrough in West Side Story, her reputation has taken a significant hit. According to the leaked communications, Disney is unlikely to cast her in future projects, with one executive allegedly writing, "Some bridges can't be rebuilt." The truth behind these leaked emails and audio isn't just about one actress or one troubled production. It's about a legendary studio losing sight of what made its stories timeless in the first place. As one final leaked message allegedly stated, "We forgot the most important magic of all, making people believe." Whatever happens next, one thing is clear. The most shocking part of this Snow White story isn't happening on screen. It's playing out in boardrooms, on sets, and now in leaked emails that reveal what Disney really thinks about Rachel Zegler and the monster they created together.